Welcome to the panel discussion on current US economic crisis. This panel is hosted by the Economics and Finance Society of the College of Business, Tennessee State University. Many consider the current economic crisis as a result of problems in the banking sector. Let us understand how banks contributed to these situations. What do the banks do? Banks accept deposits and extend credits to governments, businesses, other banks, and financial institutions, and also to individuals like us. A smooth functioning of the economy crucially depends on the availability of credit. Deposits are considered liabilities and loans are considered assets by the banks. Banks have to pay rate of interest on deposits, but they earn interest on the loans that they extend. Higher asset base allows banks to raise more money from the market. For example, the banking sector repackaged their mortgages in the form of mortgage-backed securities to raise money from the market, and this creates further rounds of capital campaigns down the stream. Over the last few years, the US banking institutions aggressively sold mortgages to people with poor credit scores. These are known as subprime mortgages. These loans are typically characterized by low upfront payments and higher interest rates over the term of the loan. When people with subprime mortgages start defaulting, they really affect banks' accounts. Mortgages and mortgage-backed securities start becoming less valuable and potentially toxic assets. Banks facing the problems with the reduced asset base and potentially risky asset base, and they start reducing their credits, and that creates problems for the homeowners who might resort to foreclosures, and also creates problems for the businesses. Now this creates further rounds of economic problems across different sectors of the economy, and that could lead to a vicious cycle, one of which we are facing right now. There is no precise definition of financial crisis, but a common view is that disruptions in financial markets rise to the level of a crisis when the flow of credit to households and businesses is constrained and the real economy of goods and services is adversely affected. Let's see what happened in the market over the last year or so. Nasdaq lost about 32.45% and Dow Jones lost about 36%. S&P 500, often considered to be a benchmark of the financial sector, lost close to 38%. If we look at some of the bigger banks, Bank of America lost about 86%, while Citi lost about 85%, and US Bank Corp lost over 60% over the last 1 year. Let's look at other fundamentals of the economy. The total public debt outstanding is over $10.7 trillion, and the fiscal deficit is going to add up to over $3 trillion, and the Treasury might have to issue new bonds to raise that kind of money. There are many other problems over the other sectors of the economy. For example, with credit card and consumer loans, rising unemployment levels, credit crunch and problems faced by the businesses to fund their operations, international problems getting spilled over into US economic crisis, decreasing economic prospects at the state and local levels, and problems of baby boomers retiring in very near future. There are some steps that have already been taken in near past. For example, a $29 billion acquisition of Bear Stearns, $85 billion loans to AIG, $700 billion troubled asset relief program, and the most recent $787 billion in terms of economic stimulus package. In addition, the Treasury has already stood behind Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in terms of the loans that they sold, issued, or the bonds that they guaranteed. The Credit Suisse CEO in the recent past described the subprime mortgage crisis as probably the longest anticipated crisis we have ever seen. What this panel is going to talk about are going to be various aspects of this financial crisis. Is this crisis inevitable? Is there any way out? When is it going to be over? What are the implications for current and future generations? What are the implications for state and local finances? Are we looking at drastic regulatory changes? Is the current crisis going to undermine the US competitiveness in the global economy? And we are also going to reflect on the stimulus packages. Thank you for joining us in this conversation. We are looking forward to a very engaging discussion. The panel discussion is about 50 minutes long and it will be followed by a Q&A session. Welcome again.